So, a very good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of India at 100 Foundation, a CII initiative, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the inaugural edition of the India Ahead Dialogue Series, where we bringing together conversations that explore ideas, innovations, and partnerships shaping India's journey towards becoming a developed nation by 2047. Today's dialogue focuses on climate and sustainability, India's path to a sustainable future. It's a privilege to have with us change makers and some very, very important people here to share their thoughts. Aakash Ranison joins us. He's the founder of Greener Earth Foundation, and Pankti Pandey, an ex-ISRO scientist, climate consultant, sustainability educator, and the founder of Zero Waste Adda and Project Kanchan. I'm also very delighted to welcome our moderator, Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, Chairman of the Board, Shailesh Haribhakti and Associates. Mr. Haribhakti needs no introduction. He is a globally respected thought leader on ESG, corporate governance, and sustainability, and has devoted over 5 decades to advancing responsible business and sustainable value creation. Through his pioneering Innovate to Zero philosophy, his leadership across corporate boards, and his work as an author, educator, and advisor, he has been at the forefront of integrating sustainability, governance, and technology into business strategy. Thank you so much, Mr. Haribhakti, for joining us today and for leading this conversation. And I'd like to just, in further ado, I request Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti to please take over the discussion.
Thank you very much, Aparna, and congratulations to CII for launching this whole wonderful series of conversations. Today's topic is extremely close to my heart, climate and sustainability, which will actually pave the path to India's sustainable future, a Viksit Bharat by 2047. I just want to make three broad points, and then I will move into the questions for both our absolutely delightful, young, very dynamic panelists. My 3 points are that India will need to pivot completely to renewables, but not without having a base load of capability to take care of any contingencies that may arise, fluctuations in the generation, a base load to take care of the situation when there are surges and all of that. And so we need to do an immense amount of investment in the grid and an immense amount of investment in nuclear, in addition to continuing the thrust on thermal. But of course, the holy grail is no dependence on imported oil and using the resources that are present in India. The number two thing that will create long-term sustainability is again a complete pivot to electric mobility in all forms of mobility. And of course, green bunkering and SAF for the airline industry. If we are able to get there, then our energy independence will be assured in a sustainable manner. And third is the emphasis that all of us place on circularity and making sure that not a single thing that we produce or create goes to waste or goes to a landfill. So I often talk about not zero to landfill, but zero landfills in order to create a truly Viksit Bharat. Those are my three very initial thoughts and statements. But let me ask the question to Aakash on, your description as a climate optimist. What inspired this philosophy and how has it shaped your journey as a climate advocate?
Thank you so much for having me on board, first of all, sir. And what inspired me to be optimistic? I think at first I was not optimistic at all. First, I was just fan of nature and I wanted to explore nature. I was this kid who wanted to learn the functionality of universe. How is this planet Earth is floating out of nowhere. How is it even possible? So that curiosity got me to learn about universe and then at times learn about nature, that how amazingly possible it is to live on Earth or how everything function in coordination. Learning about that, I learned that okay, how back in I think I was back in 2014 when I was learning these kind of things, and I learned that how this beautiful universe I'm learning about is also getting destroyed at the same time, right? Uh, and that destruction was caused by human activities, and that gave me climate anxiety. And for about 2 years, the only thing I would do is learn more and more about environmental destruction, and feel the climate anxiety, cry helplessly just reading. I think that anxiety for quite a large time pushed me to find my way out of that anxiety or that place I was stuck and see how can I move around. So first of all, most important thing I found was that till the time I'm feeling helpless, till the time I'm sitting and thinking everything is going wrong, nothing's gonna go right from my end as well. First of all, I need to see the possibility. I need to have the hope in me to even get on ground and even plant one tree or pick up one piece of plastic and put it in trash. I mean, that really does nothing in terms of action. If we really talk about me planting a tree, will that really help to the large scale problem we are talking about? No. Will me going out and picking up a plastic or even the whole beach cleanup, will that really help? No. Tomorrow there will be more plastic. But at least my brain knows that what is the direction I want to go, right? What is
That
the kind of things I want to think about, learn about, and see the possibility in it, right? The reason today fossil fuel is so large and then that everybody's around the globe dependent on it because long back somebody saw that optimistic future of that oil,
correct.
right? It was not easy for them to make that industry so big today.
Yeah, I often say that it's a pity that we discovered oil and coal before we discovered sun and wind.
Yeah, I'm weirdly surprised how did we really do that? And though the world's first vehicle was EV, but lobbies decided that if we let EV go ahead, the energy source is decentralized. So the reason I chose to first of all communicate through art the message of climate change or the message of nature was that languages are limited. If somebody can speak Hindi, only they can speak Hindi. Other people cannot. And if I'm trying to Hindi and English, then again there's limitation, right? But this problem is far bigger than Hindi and English speaker. But art doesn't really come with a language. It just come if you can see it, you can understand it. So the idea was how easy can we make it? And I really love the communication industry. It has the power of allowing people to buy a soda drink even when it does not make sense, make people buy things which they don't really want. This is all communication, how we communicate a story to make other person believe that they want to buy the product, not that we want to sell our product to them. So I was using the same form of communication when it came to climate change and environment. So the idea was that how do we first of all tie the stories to their reality? That's why when I was invited to be in Calicut, Kerala and do something over there, so we started learning about the demographic over there. The people who live over there, they either mostly Muslims or Christians. And what is their connection to sea? Can we find some personal connection? So it was that they eat fish, they sell fish, and they worship fish. Okay, cool. So now I don't need to talk about directly the ocean because that's a large subject. But if I make it relevant to their really core of life, it will be important to them. And if I tell you that, hey, your fish, which you eat, so your food, your economy, and your faith is getting affected by the pollution. Now, do you want to save it or not? Yes.
Very
But if
nice.
I'm generically asking, don't throw plastic around, no, Akash, I won't buy your car because you're
No,
just selling.
Akash, what I detect in your conversation is that it has to happen within our own minds.
Yeah.
Your mindset has to change and evolve.
Yeah.
And you need to feel that connect with the universe and that
Yeah.
feel of wanting to chaperone the right practices and the right
Yeah.
mindsets. And I connect beautifully to your idea of art being neutral. and it being, part of our consciousness. Wonderful. Thank you. That was wonderful. Pankti, let me turn to you to share with us your journey from an ISRO scientist to founding Zero Waste Adda, which I think is truly inspiring. And what inspired you to dedicate your career to making sustainable living accessible to everyone?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Hello, Aakash. Namaskar, sir. For good 13, 14 years, I have spent my time watching the change. Climate is changing. I have written the papers. I have seen that change in the satellite images. But when I see that, people are not that much aware about the severity of the climate change when it comes to on-ground awareness. So that's why I started, because sometimes data is there, satellite images are there, everything is there, everything is on paper, in the textbook, in the reference books. But when it comes to common people taking action, then only we will be able to achieve the sustainability, or for the climate action we has to make people aware about it. Not in terms, just like Akash said, that we have to focus on the storytelling part, because everyone knows, scientists are telling everyone that climate change is here, but people are not able to understand the severity. So that's why I founded the Zero Waste Adda, where I talk about climate, not just climate change, but climate action. Because most of the time people thinks that if we want to live a sustainable lifestyle, it will take a lot of time, or only people who don't have anything to do, they will live a sustainable lifestyle. So that's why I founded this community, to make climate action look simplified, easy, and make people uh, believe that yes, we can do something when it comes to climate action, and every small action matters. So that's why I started this. And every day people tell me that small habits, because not everyone, because climate action is very different thing, right? For what works for you may not work for Akash, what work for me may not work for you, right? So that's why I communicate it very clearly with the people, that climate action is not just, or sustainability is not just one or zero. There are lots of things you can do. So do it according to your routine, do it according to where you are living. And that's the purpose of finding Zero Waste Adda, to aware people in a storytelling way and making climate action simplified for everyone.
So, Pankti, if you travel to Japan, you will find that there is a natural instinct for them not to throw anything away.
Right.
They will carry everything back home, carefully sift through it, put it into multiple containers, and make sure that the municipal authority. So there is no waste paper basket. You will not find one anywhere in Japan. Okay? Because people are so conscious about not wasting, that they carry their waste, what we call waste, home. They don't just throw it away and, litter every place that we see it. But so inspiring that you put together. How effective has Zero Waste Adda been? Have people got it that they need to segregate waste, and that's the starting point and the mindset change that they need?
Yes, so it's been since the time of the COVID, I started, raising the awareness on such topics. Initially, it was very difficult, but then over the time, I have seen that, people are getting more aware about it. And now I feel it's not just about the awareness. Awareness is always, awareness, people are already aware now, but now we have to be the bridge between the awareness and the action. Right. So now I have reached at a point that, I meet everyone and they are like, yes, we know about this. We are aware that we have to segregate the waste, but what next? So now people are looking for the action. And this is where community, plays a larger role, how we can connect this awareness and how we can convert it into action.
So, given the fact that the Indian youth is leading this thrust, what kind of policies, partnerships, and opportunities are needed to transform the enthusiasm of youth to genuine impact on the ground?
So I think in India, there are lots of policies, many policies when it comes to the EV or clean energy or waste management. There are lots of policies, but what is more impactful is the collaboration. We see lots of policies are there, but on ground we are seeing there is no direct impact on individual lives, right? So what can impact more is the collaboration between the local governments and citizen. This can really help to structure. If we are just I'm saying that what we are doing right now is we are transforming our ward, because when it comes to sustainability we think about how to transform India, but if we want to transform the India, first we have to look into our city,
Absolutely.
not the city but our
Our
ward,
ward.
our society, our colony. So this is how we transform. So that's why it's very important to make the cluster of small things, make it a ward level initiative, then it goes to the city level, then it goes to the country. This is how the change will come. So policy alone will not change the things, or
Got
policy
it.
not
You
make
know,
that
for
action.
both of you youngsters, let me mention that the time for theory is over.
Yeah.
The time that will cause huge dramatic change and impact is going to be the measured economic impact of your actions. And that's something that I would love it if both of you advocate and get involved with. Get it measured, because if it is measured, it will keep improving.
Right.
But let's do a very quick, rapid round of questions. And I'll ask the question, and both of you can give your perspective in maybe 2 or 3 sentences each. So, what is one myth about climate change or sustainability that you wish people would stop believing in? One myth.
Pankti,
Pankti, start.
So I usually talk about this, that common myth is material shift will make us sustainable. People think if we shift from plastic to glass, we are sustainable. If we shift from paper to plastic to paper, we are sustainable. But every material has its own carbon footprint. Every material has its own water footprint. So more than material shift, mindset shift will make our life more sustainable and more. That is the most important climate action, the mindset shift, not material shift.
Very good. Aakash?
On the similar lines, what Pankti said, I just want to put it in another perspective. What people don't realize is that carbon is not the problem. The imbalance of carbon is the problem, right? You can't really keep on pointing finger at everything that, hey, you're using a phone, that's carbon. You're driving a car, that's carbon. Carbon exists in your existence. Your body is made with carbon. You're breathing out carbon. So carbon is not the problem. The imbalance of carbon, like how much are you emitting, how much are you offsetting? You're constantly cutting down trees, you're constantly destroying ocean, and you're constantly building machines, factories to emit more carbon out there. Just more storage of carbon in the atmosphere is the problem. I really want people to know this one simple thing.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant perspective. Let's move. Aakash, you start first on this one. In one word, what defines India's sustainable future? In one word.
Action.
Wonderful. Pankti, for you, what is it?
To me, circularity, because now we are in the phase of take, make, and dispose thing. So we have to, if we want to really make India sustainable, we have to move towards the circularity.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Very well answered. Pankti, now you go first. What's one sustainable habit every Indian can adopt starting tomorrow?
So it's very simple. You don't need anything for this. It's just conscious consumption. If you just think about why we are really buying this, if you just think about this and question this to yourself before buying anything, that is, going to change the, save the resources, save your money, and save the carbon and whatever we are talking about.
Very good. Start thinking about everything that you're consuming. Wonderful. Aakash, आप क्या बोलोगे?
I would say people should try to get more knowledge. Education isn't helping. Knowledge is what is needed. There are so many people I know who are passed out of what not institutes. So I don't want to name their reputation, but best of the best institutes. but I see them consuming things they don't really want, throwing plastic here and there. So sorry, but education isn't really helping. We made some big mistakes. We need to go back to knowledge. That is what we don't have, because if I'm knowledgeable, I would have empathy. If I have empathy, I would consume what I really need. As of now, if I see something, I just want to grab and buy. Whether knowing that the other people won't have something to eat, but I'm so selfish that zero empathy is killing us. We need knowledge. Knowledge will get us empathy. Empathy will fix everything.
Fabulous. What a great thought. So now, Aakash, again back to you. One piece of advice for India's young change makers.
Don't try to solve climate change on numbers. You can only solve it through heart. If you can't get people to love nature or love themselves or surrounding, put as many policy paper on in front of tables or everyone, it won't help. We have seen so many papers fails in COP. We sign deals every year. Next year we go back, we don't do anything. So paper aren't helping.
Wonderful. Pankti, what's your thought?
So I would say if we really want climate action, then collaborate and don't compete, because in youth we see lots of competition happening, but climate change is such a big issue. It will get solved only and only when we collaborate, be it the public and government collaboration or business collaboration, because it's such a big issue and we all have to be together and collaborate with each other to solve this.
Amazingly mature thoughts from two exceptional youngsters. I'm delighted to converse with you on this extraordinary subject. What I took away is that you want to create the consciousness about why we should care and leave the planet better for our next generation than the way we found it. That was the underlying message that you all gave. Aakash, let me tell you that you still make me very proud, because you go back to the fundamental, that if your consciousness transforms, then you will take the right actions yourself. Right. And that's what will propel India to a Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much. It was real fun discussing this with you. All the best to both of you.